Hi madam, I'm Sharvita Rajar and my group members are Visali, Lydia, Tivashini and Riveta. It's our recorded presentation video titled The Corruption in the Malaysia Context.
Hi madam, I am Revita. Now I am going to present about introduction of the corruption in the Malaysian context. Corruption is a type of dishonesty or a criminal often committed by a person or organization in a position of authority in order to obtain illicit benefit or abuse power for personal gain. Corruption can involve a variety of activities including bribery and embezzlement as well as practices that are legal in many countries. Next is political corruption. Occurs even a public official or other government employee acts in an official capacity for personal gain. Culparis, oligarchies, narco-state and mafia states are the most corporate. After that corruption issue in Malaysia, combining corporation has risen to the top of policymakers and corporation agendas. Despite the fact that as long as been problem, there is a growing understanding of the negative effects of corruption in both social and economic development. Malaysia has a long history of combating corruption and bribery with cases occurring over the last 4 decades and no signs of abating. Cases like Sabah Water Department on MDB, Port Klang Free Zone, and Immigration Department scandal in 2018 demonstrated how corruption and bribery are deeply embedded in Malaysians' political and government institutions. Next is bribery, extortion, fraud, embezzlement, blackmail, illegal gambling, laundering, and nepotism are all forms of corruption that occur, all of which involve the abuse and misuse of public power and authority. These include dishonesty public official accepting or offering bribes in the form of money or services. As a result, it is frequently the abuse of trust, power for personal gain. It is viewed as a result of power, governance, and undermines the state legitimacy. Lastly, types of corruption. First is anti-corruption body. Second is on MDB scandal. Third is deals with China. After that, crime in Malaysia.
Hi madam, I'm Sharvita Rajar. Okay, now I'm going to explain about the causes of corruption in Malaysia. First, the phenomenon of corruption is strongly influenced by the politic and economic environment of our country. The more a country economic activity is regulated and limited, the higher the authority and power of officers in making decisions, and the greater the risk of corruption because people are ready to pay or offer money to avoid restrictions. There is high risk of corruption when authorities are subject to regulation and have the ability to make decisions based on discretion. Ineffective and unclear regulations help to increase the level of corruption in at least two ways, such as efficiency is defined by the quality of regulations and permits. First, the system artificially manufactures monopoly of power, which allow the civil workers to obtain bribes is based on their superior position. However, ineffective and unclear regulation causes inhibition and therefore encourage natural person to pay bribes in order to speed up the bureaucratic procedure. Okay, next, the corruption is also influenced by the low pay of public administration employees, which is the state workers who try to improve their financial status by accepting briberies, and thus the socio-economic situation of government officers has an impact on the phenomenon of corruption. Corruption arises when the agency, institution and the government are unable to effectively control corruption because to underpay officers, which is an issue particularly in developing nations when tax money is insufficient to fairly reward local authorities. Many methods for removing competition are exploited, and bribery is just one of the tools available in the fight for a job. On the other hand, is the point sometimes simply the lubricating of the bureaucratic wheel by the private sector to do certain things easier or faster. If the top politics such as government, parties and leading politician is corrupt, corruption will extend to all levels and this evil will spread to the general public since no one trusts the institution and the rule of law. Then, corruption also generates lack of transparency and a lack of control by the supervisory institution. Therefore, where there is insufficient legal basic or sufficient political will to control, which enables a non-transparent functioning of both politics and the economy, corruption flourishes. Corruption is also affected by extensive, non-transparent or incomplete legislation where laws can be interpreted in different ways for the benefit of the one who pays. That's all from me. Thank you, madam.
Good day, madam. I'm Visali Subramani, and I'm going to explain about the law related on corruption in Malaysia. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission Act 2009 MACC Act has been amended to introduce corporate liability provision for bribery and corruption under Section 17A of the MACC Act, which came into effect on 1st June 2020. The introduction of Section 17A, the MACC Act, had only primarily focused on the prosecution of natural persons who were involved in corruption. However, with this latest introduction, the MACC is now able to directly impose corporate liability on commercial organizations, including public and private limited companies. The employees or associated person are involved in corrupted practices and dishonest commercial misconducts. Moving on, commercial organizations commits an offense if a person associated with the commercial organization corruptly agrees to give, promises or offers to any person any gratification, whether for the benefit of the person or another person, retain business for the commercial organization. Any commercial organization who commits offense under this section shall on conviction be liable to a fine of not less than 10 times the sum or value of the gratification, which is the subject matter of an offense, where such gratification is capable of being valued or is of pecuniary nature, or 1 million ringgits, whichever is higher, or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 20 years, or to both. These penalties would be in addition to other legal and non-legal consequences of a conviction, such as triggering or reporting obligations and reputational damage. Next, the government has stated that the aim of this provision is to foster the growth of a business environment that is free of corruption and to encourage all commercial organizations to take the reasonable and proportionate measures to ensure their businesses do not participate in corrupt activities for their advantage or benefit. These measures should take the form of policies and procedures with training, communication, and enforcement to ensure they are effective. Other than that, a defense is available provided such person is able to prove that the offense was committed without his consent or convenience, and that he had exercised due diligence to prevent the commission of the offense, as he thought to have exercised having regard to the nature of his function, that is capacity, and to the circumstances. The commercial organization may still be liable whether or not its top level management or representative has actual knowledge of the corrupt acts of its employees and or associated person. The MACC has jurisdiction to investigate bribery offences under the MACC-A and the Penal Code PC. Other Malaysian law enforcement authorities may also investigate bribery offences under both statutes. Though they may not be able to use the investigative tools provided by the MACC. Overall, as part of the Malaysian government's ongoing effort to clamp down on corruption, the country will likely witness more MACC Act investigations and prosecution in the years to come. Moreover, while the case of Pristine Offshore involved Malaysian companies, only the MACC Act undoubtedly have the capacity to affect international companies as well. It is therefore imperative that all companies carrying out business in Malaysia take note of Section 17A and implement measures to avoid falling fall of it. Thank you, madam. That's all from my part.
A very good day, I'm Tyoshni Subramaniam. Today I will be presenting about the effects of corruption on people. As we all know, corruption is declared as the number one threat of Malaysian people. It poses a global risk as well as a threat in Malaysia. The entire world believes that corruption in whatever form is the greatest impediment in progress. It has a greater impact than any other flaw. It has a damaging influence on all parts of life, including the economic, social, and political. Let's take a look at the effects of corruption on people. Unfair service and unemployment are one of the effects of corruption on people. Individual rights and freedoms to receive essential services from governmental and private offices are violated by corruption. This indicates that this behavior influences the quality of service provided by public and private sector employees and put citizens' life at risk. Corruption can also lead to job loss. Even if qualified individuals want to work at a company or corporation, they will not be hired. If candidates would not bribe employers, there would be more job offers. Other than that, lack of justice is also one of the effects of corruption on people. Improper justice is the result of judicial corruption, and the people who have been offended may suffer as a result. Due to a lack of evidence or evidence that has been deleted, a crime may be proved with the benefit of the doubt. The inquiry process drags on for decades due to the corruption in the police system. Moreover, this allows the criminals to go free and commit even more crime. There's even a risk that criminals will die of old age as a result of the prolonged probe. As a result, one gets the feeling that justice delayed is justice denied. Next, let's take a look at the effects of corruption on society. Lack of faith and trust in the governments are one of the effects of corruption on the society. The people has lost faith in the nation rulers such as the president and prime minister. This is because in social solution, the most important criterion is respect. People vote in elections because they want the election winner to enhance their living standard and because they respect their leader. However, if leaders are discovered to be corrupted, people will lose faith in them and may not vote again. Next, the effect of corruption on economy. Lack of development is one of the effects of corruption on the economy. Corruption could lead to a drop in international investment. There have been numerous instances where foreign investment in developing countries has been halted due to widespread bribery in public entities. Due to a desire to mint money and other unlawful benefit, the official who needs to pass the clearance for projects or industry delays the process. Her work, which can be done in a few days, may be done in a month. As a result, investment, industry startups, and expansions are all delayed. Even if they start, business growth is affected because of all work with official is delayed due to the necessity to give bribes and other rewards.
Hi madam, my name is Lydia Arul and I'm going to conclude the corruption in the Malaysia context. Some important ways of preventing corruption is to give a better salary in a government job. Increasing the number of workers can be another suitable way of curbing corruption. In many government offices, the workload is very high, which provides an opportunity to slow down the work by government employees. Consequently, these employees then indulge in bribery in return for faster delivery of work. This opportunity to bribe can be removed by bringing in more employees in government offices. Furthermore, there should be an efficient and quick implementation of strict laws. The government must make sure to keep inflation low due to the rise in prices. Many people feel their incomes to be low. Applying cameras in workplaces is an excellent way to prevent corruption. Above all, many individuals will refrain from indulging in corruption due to fear of being caught. Such contrasts, reinforced further by political manipulation and selective application of laws, have undermined the effectiveness of anti-corruption initiatives. Corruption is the most pressing issue in Malaysia, not only due to strong public perception but the damage done in critical. While the government has made strides in taking effective steps to address corruption, it can and must do more. Everyone from political leaders to the community is a stakeholder and must be involved in combating corruption because it affects everyone. Only when everyone is involved against corruption can Malaysia put an end to this cancer. We have to kill the silent killer before it slowly kills our nation. Last but not least, there is an urgent need to inculcate in every individual the sense of responsibility to stop engaging in any unfair and corrupt practices. Government officials should give the power to the public to report immediate corruptions they face in their daily lives and act on it within days. Ending corruption will lead to equal distribution of wealth and resources among all and lead to a healthy society in live in. Thank you.